Okay, so now that it's been over a week since we gave birth, I thought it would be insightful to go over the story from our perspectives, just to recount the timeline and share what we were thinking and feeling during the whole experience, because it was quite crazy. So I feel like we've had enough time to process and to gather our thoughts about it. We've told the story enough times, so I just want to capture our fresh perspectives, at least for ourselves, to look back on. So yeah, we're gonna play the video here, the one that I have uploaded. If you haven't seen that already, watch that first so you kind of know what we're talking about. I mean, I'll show it on here too, but yeah, we're gonna play it on here and just kind of react to it as we go along. So here we go. They're not gonna make it.
Okay.
You are safe.
Hey Lindsay, I think I might see you. Father, right now I just pray. We just thank you for life. There he is. Hey Bubba. Hey.
So it is June 9th, I believe, and I have been having some painful, sharp, stabbing, contraction-like feelings pretty much all day, pretty much since yesterday. I'm just gonna make the... Okay, so the first point to mention is when I was 37 weeks and we went to the hospital and they told me we were 4 centimeters. For one, like I said in this video, I was pretty sure that with Kairos I was dilated early as well. The way they put it, it made us kind of feel like birth was around the corner, so we kind of jumped into gear, and this is where we really started preparing for the birth, because up until this point we were so busy that we didn't have anything. So yeah, pretty sure it's time. I have had probably 5, 6 or 7 surges, contractions, like 5 to 7 minutes apart. And before, you know, if you ever have given birth, had contractions. Yeah, so before this, we were at Tyler's grandma's house swimming at the pool. And even before that, I texted my doula saying, my practice contractions feel a little bit different today. And they were just like, okay, like take it easy, rest. And then we went swimming at Tyler's grandma's, and I was having practice contractions, but each time I went to the bathroom, they would stop. So when we got home and I went to the bathroom and I had a contraction right after, I knew I was in labor because it didn't stop. So then it jumps to 10 minutes later after me saying that I'm gonna take a shower. And in the shower, I had one contraction where it's called the bloody show. And I felt the pressure to push, but I was like, no way, no way. So then I called Tyler. I could barely like talk, but I called Tyler. He was putting Kairos to sleep at that. No, I called him to go get Kairos. And then that's when he took Kairos to go put him to sleep for a nap. So during this whole time, Kairos was asleep. What was your thought process during that time?
When they first started?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we first got home and you told me that you were having contractions, I was still a little hesitant because you'd been having contractions for quite a while.
Like practice contractions, yeah.
And you did say earlier in the day that you did feel a little different that day, but they were still inconsistent and whatnot. But then when we got home, you went to the bathroom.
And we went to the store and got popsicles. I feel like that was very out of the norm. Like I felt like I was feeling very different. I got popsicles and bagels. And in my thinking, the bagels were for the next morning because like instinctively I knew I didn't want to think about breakfast because we'd have a newborn. But not even connecting the fact that I was in labor. Anyway, sorry.
So whenever you came home, went to the bathroom, you came out and you had another contraction, and you were talking about how it felt a little more intense. At that point, I was like, okay, this might be the real thing. We're probably few hours away from having a baby. And so I just kind of went into preparation mode. I'm going to clean, I'm going to pick up. We have the doula's coming over, midwife coming over. We had snacks that we had to put out for them. All this stuff. I had to make the bed, and I had to put Kairos to sleep.
There was a lot.
And so at this point, and I had to I wanted to sweep the floor as well, because Kairos had just eaten a popsicle on it. And so I wanted to sweep and mop and do all that. And so I thought I would have the time to do that. And so that's what I started doing. And you called me in. I got Kairos. I tried to go or be as normal and routine as I possibly could with him. So I didn't try to rush his nap time because he'd already fallen asleep in the car. And sometimes that translates to him not falling asleep when we get home. So tried to be as routine as possible. He fell asleep, thankfully. I finished like the few dishes I had, and I heard the bathroom, I heard the water running in the bathroom. So I went in to check on you, and that's when I see you in the tub, and you're hunched over, and you're like, they're not gonna make it.
Wait. I think the midwives are on their way. They're finishing up with a birth right now, and I'm gonna get in the shower. So I'll see you on the other side of that shower. So yeah, I got out of the shower, and I had one more contraction when I got out of the shower, and there was more like bloody show. For whatever reason, I just thought to fill up the bathtub. Like I remember during Kairos's labor, being in the birth pool really eased my contractions. So I was like, I need to be submerged in water right now. And then I got into the tub, and I had another contraction, and this contraction I was bearing down. Like I was pushing, and I was like, there's no way. Like, why am I pushing? Because I was timing my contractions, and they were 7 minutes apart. Yeah, so I went from 7 centimeters. I went from my contractions being 7 minutes apart to pushing. Usually it like dwindles down and then get to like 1 minute apart, and then you're pushing. But yeah, so at that point when I was like bearing down, and then Tyler came in, I was like 75% sure. When I said they're not gonna make it, I was like 75% sure. I still had hope though. I still had hope that they would show up in time, because in my brain it's like, no way. There's no way I'm gonna have a baby by myself. Poem that you weren't even sure that I read.
Yeah, so I had written that, I think the week prior. The week prior I had written you something. I just wanted to be prepared, and I thought when I wrote it, like, man, I'm not gonna have enough time. So I hurried up, got it done, and I wanted you to have something that you could read and hopefully be encouraged by.
Do you want to hear the poem? I'm just kidding.
And so, yeah, whenever everything was happening, I was still somewhat confused, because when she told me, like, they're not going to make it, I was like, what do you mean they're not going to make it? You just started. You just went into labor. Like, we have a little bit of time. And so I think throughout the first 5 to 10 minutes, I was a little, I think, confused, but trying to listen and be understanding, because she's like telling me, I need this, I need that, you can't leave. And I'm like, why can't I leave? Like, there's no way I'm going to go and do this one thing and you're going to have a baby in your arms. Like, there's no way.
Talking about going to get the book for the poem.
Yeah, and so I rushed and got the book, my journal, and I handed it to her, and
I read it in between contractions. you don't know already, in childbirth, if you wait till your body is ready to push, it actually does all the work for you. You do not have to do any manual pushing. I mean, for a lot of women, it doesn't happen for everybody. But for me, at this point, my body was just bearing down without me doing anything. So I would take a deep breath and blow it out. And the more I blew out, the more my body just started to literally push the baby down. It was crazy. And I think that only happened a few times before his head was out. So yeah, that's what you see here, is me literally just breathing and my body just pushing. I don't want you to leave, but I need a fan, I need my hair up, and I need...
Fan, do we have a fan?
I need...
A little fan?
Yeah, the little fan, the green fan. And I need Tammy or someone on the phone.
Lindsay?
Yep. As soon as I said I need someone on the phone, my doula was calling, which I thought was a God thing. Yes, she said she's on the way. I don't think she's gonna make it. I don't think anyone's gonna make it.
Okay.
I'm definitely pushing.
Okay, that's all right. Did you try and see if you could feel the baby?
Yeah, up until this point, I literally couldn't sit down because I was like pushing, and I was afraid. I don't know. I was afraid to sit down. And when I sat down, it's like I felt the baby's head, so it was kind of uncomfortable. Like, that was not the ideal pushing position. If I could do it over again, I don't know what I would do. I think I would fill the tub up more. I don't know. I wish I was in a birth pool, honestly, but...
Where's Tyler?
I'm right here.
Right here.
Perfect. Hi, Tyler.
Hey, Lindsay.
You ready to meet your baby?
I am so excited.
I want you to go ahead and just continue breathing through your contractions like you're breathing through a straw. Just nice and slow, nothing crazy, and just work with that. Relax your body and just be okay.
Yeah, I think at this point, when you sat down, because right before this, she asked if you could feel him.
Oh, yeah.
And
She had me check the baby, where the baby was.
yeah, so you checked, and what did you say?
I felt something hard.
Yeah, you're like, I feel something hard. I was like, oh man, he's coming. Like, he's coming. But I still thought we had time. I didn't know how long the process was from him getting, from that point to out. And so I think a part of me still felt that we had time. And so, you sat down. I was like, okay, she's going to sit down. She's going to feel a little better. When she sat down in the birthing pool before, like, we still had like another hour or 2 hours before she gave birth. So I was like, we still might have time. I still wasn't fully convinced that he was going to come before anybody showed up.
Breaths. There you go. Very good.
Deep breath.
It was very hard. It was very hard to breathe deeply. It's actually very hard to breathe deep when you're having a contraction. Do you remember I was like breathing like and every time Lindsay said to breathe deeper, it was like actually really helpful to remember to like take a deep breath. But when I did take a deep breath, it relieved a lot of tension, I think. That's a tip for anyone.
There you go. Nice slow breaths. Nice slow breaths. Okay, really focus on deep breaths. Very good. There you go. Very good.
Oh,
You are safe.
whoa. Hey, Lindsay, I think I might see him. This is when I saw the water sack. So she was...
My water never broke. I don't think that's made clear in this. My water never broke. Same with Kairos. So when I was pushing, he saw, what'd you see?
The water sack or the bag, whatever you call it. I saw it start to come out. I thought it could have been his head. And I was like, oh snap, like, here he comes. And so I went And at this point, I was going to feel it, and I noticed that it wasn't hard, so it wasn't his head. So I was like, okay, that's the sack. There it is. And at that point, I was convinced. I was pretty convinced. Like, okay, nobody will probably make it before this baby comes.
When he said, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah.
then I was like, "Okay, we're doing this on our own."
I think it's the bag. Good, baby. We're doing good. Father, right now I just pray. We just thank you for life. We thank you right now for Augustine coming. We thank you for the strength of Alyssia. We thank you so much for this beautiful moment that we're having, Lord. We just pray right now for to be your will, Lord, that you would just slow this baby down just a little bit.
I was like, "No, why would we want it to slow down?"
I was just thinking so they could get here.
No way, because
And
he was coming, and I at this point I was like, well, if he's coming, like, let's get it done. Like, let's get it out. Let's get him out of here. Like, no way. Because when I did sit down, I feel like it did slow down a bit, but then the next contraction, it picked back up.
just a little bit, Lord. But if it be your will that he comes now, Lord, we are ready. We are prepared for him. We just pray that you would bless this life. Pray that you would bless this life, Lord. Yep.
Hey, Tammy's on now.
Okay. Hey, Tammy.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stay in the background. I'm already on my way, but it sounds like you guys are probably gonna have a baby before I get there. I'm 18 minutes out.
Okay. All right.
So just stay on the phone, and all you're gonna do is touch a baby. Okay? Remember,
Fantastic.
if the baby's coming this quick, there's nothing in the way.
Okay.
This quick.
I say, it's just, it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. So she told me I was going to catch a baby. All right, I'm going to catch a baby then. That's fantastic. Let's do it.
The people don't know that you're a paramedic background. So what part did that play in this part?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I have said that I was thinking about during this time was, what do I do if he comes out and isn't breathing? What do I need to do at that point? Other than that, I was like, okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to it. You just catch the baby, you put him on her chest, and he's going to be breathing. He's going to be okay. Fantastic.
If the baby's coming this quick, there's nothing in the way.
Okay.
And that, when she said that, if the baby's coming this quick, there's nothing in the way, for me, that brought a lot of peace, because I think a lot of fear when it comes to birthing on your own or at a birth center or something is that, what if the cord is wrapped around? What if the cord is not long enough? Like, there's a lot of things that could prevent, like, easy pushing or easy, like, I don't know, how do you say that? Like, an easy time for the baby to come out. But she said, if he's coming this fast, there's nothing in the way. So that just brought me so much peace.
Yeah, God, we just thank you that you give this beautiful mom, Alyssia, everything she needs. And Lord, let this baby just come down safely into this bag. We thank you for what you're going to do here. And we thank you for the joy of this father getting to receive his own baby. We praise you for who you are. Amen.
If he's born in the sack, what should we do?
You'll pick up the sack and the baby, and it tears very easily. It'll probably tear on the way up, but otherwise you'll just open it up with your fingers. And you don't have to be in a rush. So you just listen to your body. You don't have to wait on us. You listen to your body. And sometimes the bag of waters can come out in quite a while before the baby. So we'll just wait, and you'll react to your body, okay? Okay.
Best advice ever, I think, is to listen to your body, which for me is a big reason why I did not want to birth in a hospital where the temptation to get an epidural is present, because it's very hard to listen to your body if it's all numb, and that's just my preference. Like, I wanted to be as natural as possible so I could be as in tune with the birth process as possible. yeah, that was just my experience. And so when the best advice that she said was to listen to your body, and yeah, that's what we tried to do. And your reminders to breathe were really crucial, like really crucial, because I was holding my breath and like clenching, but when I remembered to breathe, that's when like things actually got moving.
See his hair. Just letting you know I see his hair, Tammy.
I think so, yeah.
I saw, I took note of, and I updated.
There he is.
Wanted them to know.
What do I do?
Just breathe slowly
He's
and
still
push
in the,
very slowly.
his head's still under the water.
Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy that you can birth the head underwater. He was still in the sack, but even if he wasn't, we could have still, she said we could sit there like that for 2 to 3 minutes until the next contraction. Like, that was insane. And at this point, like, the temptation to be so anxious and overwhelmed and scared was so palpable, but for some reason there was just this peace. Like, nobody else was freaking out, so there was just like this steady peace. And looking back, like, it was all the Lord, because I remember like the split between wanting to freak out and be so anxious and nervous, and yet this like just pressing peace of everything's fine. Like Tammy said, it's fine. You're just gonna, the next contraction, the body's gonna come out, and that's that. Like, I don't know, there's just a palpable peace for me. Anything to add?
And at this point,
Yeah, what'd you think when the head came out?
yeah, I think when the head came out, and she was like, on the next contraction, his body's gonna come out. And I'm like, man, that's a big contraction for the rest of him to make it out. And but yeah, at that point I was like, okay, it's go time. You know, he was out. I saw him, and I think I do remember. At that point I was thinking back to Kyrus's birth when his head came out as well, because I don't think
his head came out, and then I took a deep breath and pushed the rest of his body out. There wasn't time in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had an idea that because we were under the water, that it would be fine, that he
That's
is
crazy.
still under, or he's still fine. But
God is crazy.
But he hasn't come out yet fully.
That's okay. You can wait 2 to 3 minutes for the next contraction. On the next contraction, she'll deliver his body.
We had enough time to move the camera.
I think I asked her if she wanted me to move the camera or not. But at this point, I had my hand on his head.
It's silent because I'm breathing deeply.
She's in superhero mode. That's what she's in.
Oh, hey, Bubba.
Hi, baby.
There he is. There he is. Hey, Bubba. Hey, there he is.
Gargling.
The what?
He's gargling.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. He's supposed to. I hear him. He sounds safe.
Hey,
He's
baby.
supposed to sound exactly like he does. Okay? Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that to all those, I don't know, I think in the movies how they hit the baby's back to make him cry. That's what I was thinking.
Hold him on your chest and keep, yeah, keep his face above water.
Yeah, he
And
is.
you've done all you need to do.
Yeah.
You sure? He's gargling a little.
It's okay, baby. It's all right.
Yes, he's supposed to. He's supposed to gargle a little and blow up bubbles out of his mouth. That's exactly what he should sound like. Just hold him and
It's all right, Bubba.
You're okay, baby.
That's a big guy right there.
You're okay, baby. Hi, baby.
It's okay.
I like you can stop.
There
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, it's okay.
This is the moment we knew.
Everything is
Everything's
okay.
gonna be all right.
Hi, baby. You alright, baby? Are you okay?
Oh, is that better? Prepare or anything?
As far as the placenta, will I know when that needs to come, or?
Yeah, so there'll be a nice big gush of blood right before it comes, and you will feel pressure in your vagina.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's really it. And then the midwives got there maybe 15, 20 minutes after, right?
About 10, 15 minutes after, yeah.
Yeah. They got there, birthed the placenta in the pool, in the bath, and they went home like, what, 2 hours later? I don't know. The passage of time is crazy after you give birth. Like, you don't really, you're not aware of time. But yeah, and then they went home. And we had a baby. He latched right away. And yeah, the rest is history. The rest is in our week in the life video that you will see next week. Anything else you want to add?
I think, like what I wrote in my poem to you, you were made for this. I think whenever I was writing it, thinking back to Kairos' birth, I knew just how strong you were, the type of woman you are, and I just had so much confidence in you. And I think this just proved it. And like I said, whenever she had her last surge, it was superhero time, you know? I feel like you watch all the movies or TV shows of women giving birth, and there's just yelling involved, and it just seems so scary and painful. And I think you're just a testament that it doesn't have to be that way, and that you can just breathe and find peace and have peace and, yeah, give birth to a beautiful baby. We'll kick the ball with you, bud.
Yeah, and that's that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you're not subscribed, you should. Come along on this journey with our family, our growing family. And I will see you in the next video.
We were standing in the freezing rain. Honey, how could I forget? In the distance were the